two things I want you to do really. I'm going to talk about the setup first and a really cool trick to test this and see if your club is coming back the way that it should. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I've got a little trick for you, right? Something that people generally just don't understand or don't know, and they're trying to do something that isn't right, and it's actually having a negative impact on their golf shots. Okay, I hate the word trick on YouTube as I try and make videos to really help you understand things, but this is actually a trick and something so simple, and when you understand it, you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, so let's get into the drill. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. And before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to hit like, hit the subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so what is this that I always see, right? This is really interesting because you would think this would make sense if you are doing this. Starting with setting up to the golf ball with the club flush to the ground, okay? So leading edge that way, okay? This would be toe up, this would be toe down or heel up, okay? So I see golfers starting like this, all right? And you're probably at this point going, well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, okay? Well, let's think about it. When you swing a golf club, the shaft will flex in numerous different ways, okay? We tend to think of flex in the shaft as back and forward that way, okay? And no matter what stiffness your shaft is, it will be moving, all right? It'll be flexing. Now, what people don't think a lot about is the fact that the shaft will also, in the golf swing, flex this way, okay? So I can give you a better visual of that using my lag shot. It's a much whippier shaft, it'll be easier for you to see. So in the swing, it flexes like this, all right? What is that doing to the toe of the club? All right, it's pushing it down or lifting the heel, okay? So that is happening in your golf swing with your clubs. So if we start with the club flush and we get this flex that way, that's going to push the toe down and the heel up. All right, why is that a bad thing? Right, let's look at, we don't hit the ball with the leading edge unless we thin it, which on a cold day in Northern Ireland, you know about it because your hands freeze and your hands are frozen and it stings like mad. All right, so we hit the ball with this part of it, not the leading edge. So look what happens if my club is nice and flush, so that's straight. You can see that that pen points straight back at you. As I tilt this club that way, you'll see that that goes to the left. Left as I'm looking at the ball would go to the left. And I tilt it up, you'll see that that goes to the right. So if you're starting with the club flush and this happens, the loft of your club, not so much the leading edge, but the loft of your club is going to point to the right, okay? So you could be hitting it to the right because of that, not necessarily the fact that your face could be open, all right? It's purely based on the angle that it returns at, okay? So I got a really cool trick for you. Two things I want you to do really. I'm going to talk about the setup first and a really cool trick to test this and see if your club is coming back the way that it should, all right? So let's go for trick one. And this is a setup thing. It's quite simple. When you're setting up to the golf ball, I want you, kind of hard to see because my mat, the grass is quite long, but I want this to be ever so slightly toe up. Now, not like this because that's going to affect other things in your setup. Obviously, that in the hands, it have to be really low and can affect your posture. That's not what this is about. It's very slightly toe up, okay? Enough that you could probably stick like a 10p if you're from over here, or if you're American, you can stick a quarter underneath the toe of the club, all right? And it would just sit ever so slightly. That's going to allow for that club head droop, is what it's called, to get back to normal, all right? So check that. It's quite hard to see from this perspective, but if you actually set up to the ball normally, feel the toe up slightly, you can hold the club, kind of glance and go, yeah, slightly up. Do not want that flush, okay? It's going to leave the sweet spot more open. You're going to have to make different compensations, all right? So here is a cool drill. This is also how you would get fitted for clubs. If somebody is using a board, if you've ever been fitted for clubs and you hit off an impact board, it's not the best way to do it. Because the board, yeah, I'll not get into that. It's for another time. So I'm drawing as straight a line as I can on the golf ball, okay? Now, when I hit this, you're going to get to see where I strike the ball here as well, which will be pretty for you. Probably on the toe as usual. If you know anybody good on YouTube that can fix that, let me know. Drop them in the comments.
If you're anything like me and you like to wear a good quality leather glove when you're playing golf, but don't fancy the high price tag, well, go and check out my channel sponsors page, gxgolfgloves.com. Really good quality glove at a fraction of the cost. Use code David at checkout and you'll save yourself a nice little bit of cash as well.
Okay, line vertical. All right, so what that's going to do is imprint on my club face when I hit this shot. I just hit normal. Yeah, that actually was pretty good. He's bring the best out in me. Okay, hope you can see that. It didn't imprint the full line on it, but there is a line in the middle, and it's very, very vertical. All right, so imagine now, where did that ball go that had the line there? Okay, if that line imprinted this way across the club, because the line was straight, that would mean my toe is too far down when I strike the ball, pointing the loft right. If the club is too much this way, the line being vertical, it will point across this way across your club face. Okay, so it's a bit of an indicator for loft or lie of the club, yes, but it's also a technical thing as well. I mean, if I look and I see a line right across the club face this way, because the club is so upright, you can't bend them 7 degrees flat to fix it. It's obviously a swing issue. So look at it. You'll not be far away, but check that. Get the toe slightly off the ground. Put a line down the ball. It's a good way to check your strike as well. And try and get that line nice and vertical. That way you can eradicate. Yes, you could have leading edge closed or open at impact, but it's another variable striking off the list that you know at impact the club is on the appropriate angle and the loft is pointing where it should. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.